So let me see, what am I dealing here with? Do we have any WordPress developers here? Oh, cool. Okay, nice. So, WPCLI is command line interface for WordPress. And why would we use another command line interface when we have Git and Docker and NPM and everything? Well, because it's fun to work from terminal, right? Someone had to say it. So the way I see, we could use WPCLI on 4 levels. The first level would be everything you can do in WordPress dashboard, clean install, no additional plugins, you can do with WPCLI. So that would be something like Guilfoyle level. The next level would be for things to do in WordPress, some things you need additional plugins. For example, you want to list cron events, or you want to export database, or you want to import database, you need additional plugin. With WPCLI, you don't need that. You can just run it on clean install, and you can do many more things that you would need plugin for. If you add to this command search replace, you can have cloning and migrations done in minutes, literally. So that would be Pied Piper level. The next level would be for some things, no plugins are created yet, but you can do them with WPCLI. For example, if you want to export parts of content, so I have a client with huge database. Well, their website clients don't come with databases yet. So they have huge database with tens of thousands of posts. I don't know how many custom post types and users, not even to go to theme options. And I'm working on a post template, one little part. All I need is just posts published in last 6 months. And with WPCLI, I can do that. I can specify start date, end date, author, post type not in, if I need all but. I can specify post ID if I know which one, or post start ID. So many things can be really refined here, and in one command you have just part of content that you need, and that was really helpful. Another helpful thing that there is no plugin for yet is command scaffold. So with this command you can scaffold theme, plugin, block, and many other things. We will see that in a minute. So this level would be a neo level, and another level that we will not have time to see today, but it's a great level. You can create custom WPCLI command. So some very smart hosting companies and some very smart plugin authors are doing this for years now. And it's so refreshing when you get new project, you go to hosting and you see they give you SSH for start. Then you have WPCLI, and then they have their own custom WPCLI commands for their services. It's awesome. So this level is Mr. Robot level, but we will not see it today. So let's start. Now when you know how you can use it, you want to start using it, right? Well, I don't have computer or server without it, so I cannot show you how to install it, but it's really, really straightforward. Only 3.5 commands you need. So this is nice documentation where you can read everything about it. It's pretty good written. So this is the first command. You just download WPCLI archive and it's working. So all you need really is one command. And this is the half of command. You can check it if it's working, but you don't want to do PHP WPCLI.par every time you want to run commands. So what you're going to do is you're going to make it executable and then move it to a place from where you can execute it. This is somewhere in your path. It's usually bin, but I guess it depends on system. This is working perfectly on Linux. So now we can type this, and here you see all the info about your server and about WPCLI. Now we can start using it. So every command is very simple. It's doing only one job, and whenever it's possible, it is trying to be consistent. So what you have is WP, then you have noun, which represents the entity you want to work with. Then you have verb, which represents what you want to do with this entity. And after that, we have flags. So with every command and every subcommand, you have help flag available. That is something very common for command line interface. And with help, you can see every command, every subcommand, and every parameter that is available there. You can even see some examples. So complete documentation is in your terminal. And there are some global parameters that you can use, and we will see some of them today. My personal favorite of all time is prompt, and you will see why. So let's start. I'll try to show you. I will try, because this is live coding and you'll never know what's going to happen. So I'll try to show you how you can speed up your administration, your development with WPCLI, and how you can make even your WordPress more secure. And that's a painful topic. So I'm gonna, let's say you got an email from an old client and they say they cannot access any of login URLs they know about, so they tried WP admin or login. It just keeps sending them to 404 page. And this is because you were smart and you changed the login URL to increase website security, but you also advised them to change it again so that even you don't know it. And let's pretend, for the sake of the example, they did it. So now nobody knows what is login URL. And you have two options. You can search through database if you have access, which is boring, or you can run one WPCLI command, because we live in perfect world where every server has WPCLI available and you have SSH access to it. So I can do this. I can go SSH and port number, username, and I go to remote server, and there I have my I have my WPCLI available, but problem with this is that I have to memorize this port number and username and domain name, and I hate memorizing those things. Every time I memorize one of those things, something very important just disappears from my brain. And with WPCLI, you don't have to. You can use Alias for every remote or local website you're working on. You can create Alias for groups of websites, so you can do stuff in bulk. Just don't overdo it, trust me. So how do I know if I have this is old client? I can say WPCLI alias and list. So this list command is something you will find very often in all WPCLI commands. There is list, create, delete, remove, add. That is that consistency I was talking about. And alias is part of CLI, so this is setting. This has nothing to do with WordPress that you have. And here I have all alias is created automatically every time you create the first custom alias. And here you see info that I used at alias client. So I have this client alias, and the way you would use it is just typing WP and then alias name and then everything else like you would without alias. So it's client. And while I'm there, I'm going to check their core version just to see where we are. What? So this is a problem. I cannot do this now. And it's probably because my SSL expired. That is really unfortunate. Let me just... Okay. Let's try again. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Let's try it again. Thank you. So, current version is 5.2 on this website, and the current WordPress version is 5.8. So, this has to be updated. So let's pretend that I have exported database, made all backups, and I can go from here and just say core update. So you don't even have to go to dashboard to update anything, but you really should go and take a look if everything is there. And yeah, success, we have updated, and now let's try to find that login URL. So I'm going to use the command for executing arbitrary PHP code. This is great. You can just run any PHP code, and I'm using it almost on daily basis. It's embarrassing how much I'm using it. So it's evil, and then I'm just gonna print the function, WordPress function for showing WordPress login URL. It's WP login URL. And I'm just gonna add a nice break line here to print it nicely. And the login URL is just ask Milana. So when we go there, yep. So this task could take a lot of time to go and search, to try to find credentials for that database, and but with this is very simple, very fast. And now I'm going to show you a few things about making WordPress more secure. So let's go to my local WPCLI. This is fresh install of WordPress, installed just like this morning. And if we take a look at users, you'll see I have just admin, admin, and administrator. So I'm going to show you what this admin can see. And WP admin command is a command that will lead you to WordPress dashboard. So why we didn't use it before? Well, it doesn't work with Alias. So, oh my God. Okay. So you see, admin has complete access. They're administrator. They have categories and tags and pages and all the themes, and oh my God, theme editor. There is code editor in dashboard and plugins also, and this is ridiculous. Settings and everything. They have everything. And by default, when you install WordPress, there is this post hello world, and depending on the theme, you will see this admin username on the front end. So we have this one user that has complete access to everything, and their username is displayed on the front end. So WordPress websites get hacked very often. This is not a secret. And there was even a time when WordPress was this huge security hole on server. So this is not the case anymore, but we still have this weak link, this user, and they just like keeping this admin and, having all the access and keeping their passwords jolly and light, and however attractive the idea is, one cannot simply remove the user. So we have to learn how to work with them or around them, and I'm gonna work around them now. I'm gonna create another user, and this user will have far less access. So let's see first what we can do with user. We can add capability, add role, check password, create, delete, generate, remove capability role. You can set them as spam or unspam. With update command, you can change their password without them knowing it. So if you want to have fun, you can do that as well. And now we are going to create user. WP user, create. Now, Here we will see my personal favorite prompt. So to create user, you need a number of parameters. Some of them are mandatory, some are optional. I don't know which, well, I know I learned for this talk, but I don't want to know. I don't want to care about that. What do I have to add there or what not? So I'm going to use prompt, and prompt will prompt me with every parameter there is. So username is going to be author, because this will be author user role. It doesn't have to be named author. User email is author at whatever. Now, you see this square brackets, that means that parameter is optional. So only thing that is mandatory for creating user is user login and user email. Now, role default is subscriber. I don't want that. I want author. And user password, so this should be very strong, but I have to log in with this user in a minute, so bear with me, it's gonna be author. And everything else, I don't care, whatever, yeah. We have two users now. One is administrator, one is author, and now I'm going to demote the administrator, so not remove, just demote. And I'm going to do that with remove role. Now parameter for removing role, which user? Well, you can use ID or username or email address. I happen to know this is user ID 1, so we'll just say this. And now if we list all users, oh, this is, okay, so you see this is author and there is no role for this user. So let me show you what that means. When you don't have a role, WordPress doesn't know what to do with you. So it will give you no access at all. Even subscriber has more access than this admin, and I suggest you do that. You just, leave admin, make a strong password, and remove the role. So you don't want to disappoint your hackers. You want them to, work for that access to nowhere. And now we have user with no access at all, and we are going to log in with author now. Just to see how much access they have. So they don't know there are categories or tags. They never heard about pages or themes or other users, settings, nothing. So this is pretty much limited. And this is now, there is no user that can do any administration in this WordPress install. While still, I can go and say WP plugin install and activate, and I'm going to say simple history. This is very neat plugin. It will give you the list of everything that happened in WordPress, and you could see this list in dashboard if we had any user with access to it, but we don't, which is good. And this author of this plugin was very smart. They created a custom WPCLI command. It is simple history. And they kept consistency, so I can say just list, and I can see everything that happened in this WordPress. So from WPCLI, I can do complete administration, full access. Nobody has access in dashboard to any of these things. So how about that for WordPress security? And if this author was your client, they would want more access, and yeah, they should have more access. Luckily, with WordPress, you can do that. So the default roles are really not my cup of tea. The one is too little, the next one is just giving too much, but there are capabilities. So you can add capabilities which are a bit of access and bit of permission, so you can really fine-tune what they can do and see. And I'm going to give this user capability. So now, again, we have a parameter, which user. I know this is user ID 2. And I'm going to give them capability to manage categories. So now, what they can do is they can manage all taxonomies that are there, and they should. If someone has ability to create article, they should be able to manage taxonomies. Now, I'm going to also give them ability to switch themes. So not to install new one, just to switch between what is already there, and I'm going to do the same for plugins. So they can activate plugins. Because when something is wrong and you contact your support, the first advice you will get is try with default theme and turn off all the plugins and then turn it one by one on so you can see where the problem is. And I think typical user should have that ability to switch between the themes. So you see, I have no button to add new theme, and there is no editor. There will be no code editing in dashboard. And also for plugins, I have the ability to activate and deactivate, but I have no ability to introduce some arbitrary code that I have found somewhere that, title of the plugin sounded cool. So with this, you can really allow your clients to have enough access to own the website, but not enough to break them. And I think it's our responsibility to find that line for every client and every user, what they can do and they cannot do. So that's about administration and security, and now we are going to switch to development. So the first thing you could use and find helpful with WPCLI, there is command generate. And this command goes with posts, users, menus, widgets, comments, post types. So you can really generate dummy content. When you install new WordPress and you are starting fresh project, you need some dummy content. And before I had another post and another new post and yet another post, and they were all empty and they were useless, and I spent a lot of time making them. With WPCLI, just one command will generate 100 of items, and you can even, put it on a higher level and create bash script. So when you install WordPress, just let the script run and it will populate your WordPress with dummy content and everything you need, and you can just, relax and laugh out loud because you're not doing it manually. So that's for boring stuff. And now we are going to use the scaffold to scaffold some plugins. First, let's see what we can do with scaffold. You can create a block, child theme, plugin tests, post type, taxonomy, theme tests, and underscores. Underscores is standalone theme, which is based on underscores starter theme. Today, we will consider this outdated theme because this is something we would call classic theme. With full site editing came partly in 5.8 and in 5.9 WordPress, which will come in December. Complete full site editing will be in core. So you should look for themes that are block-based themes that support full site editing. This is classic theme, supports classic editor. It's still useful to get to know WordPress, but it is considered outdated. And with this scaffold command, there is another command that you can download from official GitHub repository. It's called package, and with that package, you can create your own custom WPCLI command. So now we are going to scaffold plugin. Again, there are a number of parameters. I don't know which ones. I'm going to use prompt. The slug, that is the name of directory, and I'm going to say Quantox. Why not? Directory name, if I want it to be different from the slug, I don't want. Plugin name is Quantox. Author. Let's URL skip tests, do not skip tests. Continuous integration provider by default for WordPress projects is Travis, but you can select here a different one. I don't really care about that now. Activate, yes. Activate network, we don't have here multi-site, so I don't have to care about that. Force is when you have already the same name, plugin with the same name, so you want to override it. We don't have it. And now we have this plugin. So let's go there to see what we created. We have bin, and there are some bash scripts that are very useful. You can run them. Grunt file. So before Gutenberg, Grunt was default task runner for all WordPress projects. Now with Gutenberg, we are moving on to Webpack, and it's spreading around outside of Gutenberg. Here we still have Grunt. You can use it. It's very helpful. With this Grunt file, you have a few tasks, and one of them is to create pod file with all the strings ready for translation from your plugin. So then we have tests files. We have README. I want to show you README file. So this is not just empty TXT file. This is a template that is used by WordPress.org. So if you want to host your plugin to on WordPress.org, you need to have this. And you need to go there to documentation and find it and copy paste and then change things. You don't have to with this. You can just it collects already things that are that you type in there when you scaffold, and everything else you can just add later. And now we are going to create this plugin. So here is the main PHP file with that code, with that comment that is used by WordPress software. And here I'm going to type function Quantox the title, for example. And I'm going to pass the title. Always escape your output and prepare for translation. So I'm going to say Quantox Meetup. And my text domain is Quantox, probably. And I'm going to append the title. So this is just a little function, and we are going to hook it to a filter. By the way, these spaces, that's WordPress coding standard. So the filter is called the title. And my callback is Quantox the title. Okay, I hope everything is fine. If not, we will break the site. And here it is, our little plugin. And if we go on front end, this is what it says. It just adds Quantox Meetup before every title there is. So this plugin was created in less than 3 minutes in Terminal, completely, on live talk, and it would pass code review at WordPress.org. Not because I'm such a great developer, my function is the worst thing there and it doesn't do anything, but because there is a structure, and you get this structure with WPCLI. So you don't have to go and search, you don't have to type things that you don't have to type. You just scaffold plugin and write what is unique to your plugin. So help yourself. It's using the best practices there is for WordPress right now. It's using the coding standards and everything. Just write your own plugin and make yourself make your life easier, and you will be much happier. So now, I think we are ready for a little magic. I'm gonna go to my magic folder. So you see, there's nothing here. Completely nothing in this folder. And I'm going to run WP install. Database name is magic. And title is magic, because this is really magic. No, it's not. Admin user. And you know which password this is. And do we want to release the Kraken? I want to release the Kraken. Hi, Kraken. And this is our magic. This is our website, WordPress website that we have created with a custom bash script. So now, if we go here, you see there are files. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to open it in Sublime. I'm going to show you what's in that script. So this is pretty simple as it goes for bash scripts. It's simple script. It has only 4 WPCLI commands. Oh, okay. Thank you. So we have download. We have to download that core, and then we have WP config create. We have to create config file which holds all the credentials for database, and I don't want to remember what is the parameter. I just use simple bash scripting to collect all that credentials. I even thank myself, so there you go. Then we have core install, and again, a number of parameters that I want to think if I have typed them right or not. I just don't want to think about those things. Just want to type what is unique to my project. And after that, we have a Kraken. So you have to have some fun when you are working with terminal. And by the way, this is the exact script I'm using for work. So I get the Kraken and the cow and everything. And it's really nice to surprise yourself from time to time. And then, if I want to release the Kraken, I see the cow, and then I get my dashboard open, or I have a wonderful day. And this is, like I said, very simple. You can add here, if you have a specific set of plugins that you're using all the time, you can just add them in script. You can add all the dummy content that you're creating, or if you're having custom settings, like a specific language or whatever, you can add it all in one script and just let it go, because everything you do more than once, it should be automated. And this is, all of this is just a little part, very little part of everything you can do with WPCLI. So I hope you saw just enough to be interested to go and try to find out for yourself. This was very interesting for me with everything that happened today. And my name is MIlana Cap. I'm freelance developer at TopTal. I'm also a representative of WordPress documentation team. So if you have any questions or you want to help with the documentation, or whatever, you want to chat, find me there. The Slack one is official WordPress Slack. I can be found on other Slacks under MIlana username. And thank you very much for your time.